Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Surprise Jab Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Ruger, surprising you with new topics every single week of the year, all 52 weeks, and jabbing you, of course, with your daily dose of UFC. And we got plenty of UFC. We got plenty of surprises. This is a banger episode. I actually had to cut some stuff from this episode. We're going to be talking about it next episode, which I actually think we're dropping 2 this week, which is pretty good. But I mean, absolutely, a lot has happened. A lot has happened in the world of UFC, world in general, the world that I live in. So we got a lot to talk about on today's episode. Of course, recapping UFC 304. A lot of action went down. The rankings are updated. We got to talk about what's next for all these fighters. A lot of shocking things, a lot of not surprising things. Going to be capping off this episode with a full card recap of UFC 304, as well discussing top 10 new things in pop culture. We also have a book review, You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. We reviewed her other book at just You Are a Badass and Just Life. Now we have one related to money. I have so many notes for that, guys. I have no idea how long that segment is going to take, but I hope after it's done, you feel very motivated to achieve financial freedom. Also, I went to Monday Night Raw the other night, so I'm going to be talking about that experience. That was super fun. We also have an official Deadpool and Wolverine movie review, new UFC Fights. I mean, we are jam-packed this episode. I'm so pumped. I mean, I don't even know where to begin, all right? I don't even know where to begin. I'm so excited, but I lied. I know exactly where we begin, and it's where we begin every single episode, and that is talking about new UFC fights that have been announced. And Dana White finally revealed that UFC 306, the card going down at the Sphere September 14th, UFC Noche, which is oddly being promoted by the Saudi Arabians. I mean, it is so confusing. I don't even know what to think. There's only 10 fights on the card, and we were waiting to see what the final, I believe it was 3 or 4 fights were. And, I don't want to say they were a miss. That just feels wrong of me to say, because, there are some good ones. But certainly this card does not feel very Sphere-worthy, but at the same time, I feel like that's kind of the reason when you have, what the UFC does, and they're very smart at doing, is they put bigger fights at, lesser venues. They'll have the T-Mobile Arena. They'll just have their, any arena in Vegas, they can put a big fight, and it'll sell out because it's in Vegas and it has a big name. You can go, when you go to venues, like they went to Denver, St. Louis, Atlantic City, Mexico City, they don't load it up with the huge superstars because they know that people will just turn out since the UFC will probably not be back for a while. But going back down to fights that have been announced, a fight going down at UFC Vegas 96, August 24th. Number 12 ranked welterweight Neil Magny will take on the 16-0 undefeated prospect Michael Morales. He's 4-0 in the UFC, wins over Trevin Giles, Max Griffin, Jake Matthews, on the run of a lifetime. 16-0, looking good. He takes on the ultimate gatekeeper, Neil Magny. I mean, guys, this is Anthony Smith level gatekeepers. People rarely get past Neil Magny unless they're legit. He just stopped Mike Mallet, who we all thought was going to be the next big thing. We'll see what he does to Michael Morales, which I absolutely love that he keeps doing that. It's just, there's something fun about it. Fight announced for UFC Vegas 95 going down August 10th. Danny Barlow, left hand to God is his nickname. 8-0, won his UFC debut over Josh Quinlan. He's back in action. He takes on the 12-4 Nikola Valentinov. He was a Fury FC and United Fight League's champion. And he actually holds a win over Charlie Ontiveros and Anthony Ivy, both UFC veterans. Not very notable, but on the older side, I will say, he's pushing 35. Meanwhile, Danny Barlow on the younger side, he's 29. So we'll see what happens in that one. Another fight announced, this one for UFC 307 going down October 5th. Ior Patera back in action. The light heavyweight now dropping down to middleweight. He'll be taking on Cesar Almeida, who is 5-1, lost his first professional bout to Roman Kopilov. You know what? That should be a good striking fight. Should be a very good striking fight. I'm excited for that one. I do have some things to talk about in regards to UFC 307, so we'll actually save that till we're done running through all the fights that have been announced. Now we get into the juicy stuff, guys. Okay, UFC 306, your main event, co-main event, third fight on the main card, and fourth fight on the main card have all been officially announced. So, kicking us off, our main event, yes, it is Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili for the Bantamweight Championship. Merab Dvalishvili ranked number 1. I don't even know what his win streak's at. I think he's on a 10-fight win streak. It's either 10 or 9. I'm leaning more on the 10 side. Absolutely incredible. He's done it all with his grappling, his pace. And this is a clashing of styles. Merab will be going for the takedown right off the bat, looking to pressure Sean O'Malley. Meanwhile, Suga, 10-1 in the UFC. I mean, currently has beaten Marlon Vera, Aljamain Sterling, Piotr Jan, all former champions except Marlon Vera. And I mean, he's just the star of the UFC. He is up there for the biggest star in the UFC. And I like to think, he's up there with McGregor for sure, just because of how he's marketed himself. It's amazing. He's up there with Alex Pereira. And when we kind of go through everyone, he's a star. He's become a star unto himself. He always knew he would be. And this is a massive fight. And this is a fight I could easily see main eventing the Sphere. And I'm so happy they didn't go with what the co-main event is as the main event, as it is the trilogy, Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko for the Women's Flyweight Championship. First time around, Alexa Grasso submitted her in March of 2023. They rematched at UFC Noche last year in September. Of course, that was a draw. It was a very interesting decision, as most people thought Valentina won, as there's a weird 10-8 scorecard in the final round. But I think the majority of people agreed, where it was like, if Valentina would have won, it wouldn't have felt right. But even though it felt like she kind of did win more rounds, very weird scenario. They will settle it once and for all in both of those fights. I think I will be riding with the champion. We'll have to see, though. I definitely do like Merab Dvalishvili. And one of my favorite fights announced, it is the third fight on the main card. First fight before our first title fight, the UFC featherweight matchup between Brian Ortega, ranked number 3, and Diego Lopez, now ranked number 12. Super excited for this one. Super excited. Diego Lopez is on a 4-fight winning streak. He's just exploded onto the scene. And as for Brian Ortega, I mean, he's fought for the belt twice, looking to get back to a title shot in some regard. Brian Ortega has not won a fight since 2020. Which is kind of rough, I will say. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. He won earlier this year. I completely forgot about that, but his striking didn't look the best. His grappling still leagues ahead of a lot of people, but this will definitely be a matchup where Brian Ortega takes this to the ground, or Diego Lopez pieces him up on the feet. And the last fight that we didn't know about that was going to be on UFC Noche, a pretty good one at lightweight between Daniel Zaluber and Esteban Ribovics. Both guys on the come up. Daniel Zaluber 3-1 in the UFC, holds wins over Francisco Prado, Lando Venata, and Christos Giagos. Of his 4 UFC fights, 1 performance of the night and 1 fight of the night. 1 on UFC Noche last year. Excited to see him back in action. He takes on the surging prospect from Argentina, Esteban Ribovics. I mean, his KO of Terrence McKinney is up there for KO of the year. 47-second head kick knockout, sent him out cold. This is a good fight. This is a good fight to have on the main card. I will say the first fight on the main card is, it's Ode Osborne at flyweight versus, Ricardo Rodriguez, some random flyweight. It makes absolutely no sense. You have Raul Rosas Jr., the 19-year-old, opening the whole card. You also have Norma Dumont taking on Irene Aldana at UFC 306. I mean, that's literally your number 4 and number 10 women's bantamweights in the world. The title shot potential right there. So I'm thinking they might switch around the card a bit. They could also keep it. It doesn't matter. There's 10 fights. It doesn't really matter what order they're in. But UFC 306, UFC Noche going out the Sphere. It should be exciting. It should be very interesting. But we'll have to see what happens in the coming time. A fight announced for UFC 305 is up next in Perth, Western Australia, of course, August 17th, the day I move into my new apartment, as the number 15th ranked women's flyweight Casey O'Neill will defend her ranked spot against Luiana Santos. Luiana Santos, 3-0, just picked up a big win over Maria Agapova. Back in action is the 24-year-old, and Casey O'Neill, she was undefeated, 9-0. Fought some tough competition in Lauren Murphy, and I can't even remember who else she fought. Was it someone, Jennifer Maia she might have fought? I don't even know, but she couldn't hang with the big girls, so now she's going to fight some of the young up-and-comers. She is from Australia, though, so we'll give her the nod. And another fight announced for UFC 305, which I'm absolutely pumped about. I am kind of sad because I kind of both rock with these guys, but Mateusz Gamrot, the number 5 lightweight in the world, takes on Dan the Hangman Hooker, ranked number 11 in his home nation of Australia. And Mateusz Gamrot, 7-2 in the UFC. I think he's on a 3-fight winning streak or something in that regard. Might be 2 or something, but picked up a dominant win over Rafael dos Anjos earlier this year in March, I believe it was. And, he's done it with his grappling. I've seen his striking. He doesn't even have bad striking, but I think he's leaned so much on his control grappling that he's almost forgotten that he can actually strike. So that's kind of unfortunate, if you ask me. Dan Hooker, 2-fight winning streak, wins over Jalen Turner. And who was the other guy that he beat? I honestly can't remember. It was some rando. unranked guy. Claudio Puelles, there it is. Arguably also holds wins over Gilbert Burns, Paul Felder. Dan Hooker's a dog, but this is going to be one of those fights where Dan Hooker has to survive the grappling, Mateusz Gamrot has to survive the striking. That'll be your third fight on the main card. And I think this is a good time to talk about UFC 307 as we get into a fight that was recently announced yesterday, and that was Chris Curtis versus Kevin Holland. These are the number 15th ranked middleweights and welterweights, respectively. Kevin Holland at welterweight, Chris Curtis at middleweight. This fight will be contested at middleweight. Chris Curtis looking to get back into the win column, suffered a defeat against Brendan Allen last time out, but I would not really hold that against him. That was a competitive fight. Kevin Holland, dude has been submitting Michael Jacek, he's been submitting Michael Chiesa, he's been submitting just about everyone that they throw at him. Kevin Holland, arguably one of the most entertaining fighters on the roster. This is a very interesting fight. Both guys can strike. Both guys can grapple. You see a lot more submissions from Kevin Holland, but Kevin Holland, 12-8 in the UFC. Arguably those 8 losses are tough, but the wins stand out a lot more than his losses. Chris Curtis, 5-3. He actually just had a falling out with Sean Strickland. I heard they're not talking anymore. I'm interested to see what happens, but that fight will be going down at UFC 307, October 5th. And in regards to that card, there are rumors being talked about? I was going to say something with a P, produced, I don't even know what it is, but rumors being talked about by the Spanish media that Ilia Topuria, your featherweight champion, will be defending his belt against Max Holloway at UFC 308 instead of 307. I don't know if there's an error on their part or something there, but this fight was rumored for UFC 307. As of right now, there would not be anyone to really fill in for a UFC 307 main event. So I do find that fascinating that, UFC 308, there's a lot of names being thrown around for UFC 308. You got Islam Makhachev being thrown around, Alex Pereira, Alexander Pantoja making another title defense. I don't know what's going to transpire, but I just hope we see Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway in the October to November range. Let's hope so. Keeping us going along, so we got a couple other fights to talk about. Going down at UFC unranked card on October 19th. Robelis Despangay takes on Austin Lane in the heavyweight division. Both guys in desperate need of a win. Desperate need. Austin Lane been knocked out cold his last 2 fights. Robelis Despangay was exposed for having no grappling his last time out against Waldo Cortez Acosta. I'll be interested to see who comes out on top in that matchup. Another fight announced, this one for September 7th at UFC Vegas 97. Ovince St. Preux, the legend, takes on Ryan Superman Spann. This is a pick-me-up fight for Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann has consistently been pushed. Okay, he's been given Nikita Krylov. He's been given Anthony Smith twice. He's been given Johnny Walker. He has yet to overcome the hurdles. They're finally giving him former light heavyweight title challenger, veteran of the game, the 41-year-old Ovince St. Preux. Best of luck to Ovince St. Preux, but Ryan Spann's going to be coming hungry for a finish. I wish Ryan nothing but the best of luck, but it's no easy goings for Ryan Spann. I swear, they just keep throwing him to the dogs. Oh, he was just knocked out by Bogdan Guskov. Come on, what's going on there? 3 more fights we'll talk about. First one in the men's flyweight division going down October 19th. The number 10 ranked flyweight Matheus Nicolau takes on the 20-2 up-and-comer, 30 years old, Asu Almabayev. 3-0 in the UFC. Dude is on, I'm pretty sure, a 17 or 18 fight win streak. He has incredible grappling, incredible pressure, really takes control, gets the submission. Asu Almabayev coming for that number 10 spot, and I think he'll get it. Another fight going down November 9th. Luiana Pinheiro, the number 12 ranked women's strawweight in the world, takes on the number 13th ranked Jillian the Savage Robertson. Jillian Robertson is on the run of a lifetime. She's been submitting Molly McCann, Piera Rodriguez, most recently destroyed Michelle Warson Gomez. And as for Luiana Pinheiro, she's 3-2, 2-fight losing streak. She'll have to bounce back big here. But I like this fight. It's going down on a November 9th card. Could be an Apex card. I definitely will tune in that fight. Some I don't, some I do. I'm going to go with this one. And the final fight announced, of course, for that unannounced October 19th card. We have a date, but not an official announcement of whether it's in Vegas or somewhere else. But Sumadarji is back. Sumadarji, the Eagle, is the Tibetian Eagle. Sumadarji, single name. He's like Madonna and Prince. Will be taking on Charles Energy Johnson. If no one knows who Charles Johnson is, he has gotten 3 wins so far in 2024. He's going for his 4th win in October. If he comes out untouched, I'm not going to say that he could maybe fight again in December, but Charles Johnson, 3-0. He's been counted out in all 3 fights against Jake Hadley, against Azat Maksum, and against Joshua Van. If he wins at the end of the year, he's up there for Fighter of the Year for me. Okay, an unranked guy who was on a 3-fight losing streak, was supposed to lose to Azat Maksum, who was 17-0, almost gets finished in the first round, fights back and wins. After that, finishes back-to-back prospects. I mean, come on. Charles Energy Johnson, I'm a fan of him. I think he picks up the win. We got a lot of banger fights coming, guys. Let me tell you, the third quarter of UFC is looking really good, and the fourth quarter is just looking to blow us out of the win. The fourth quarter always seems to end on a bang. It's when the UFC makes, I'm pretty sure, a good amount of their revenue in terms of fan engagement, if you will. But I'm excited. It should be good, and we'll have to see what other fights are announced. But yeah, those are all your UFC fights, all the new news I know. But let's talk about some things that recently happened. And yesterday, I went to WWE Monday Night Raw with 2 of my buddies, Tyler Brisky, known him since kindergarten, been lifelong WWE fans together. We used to just stay up and watch the pay-per-views. We used to put on events with our action figures. We used to, do it all, play WWE 2K on the Xbox, and we finally got to go to an event together. It was so fun. We brought our buddy Landon, good buddy of mine since, 7th grade, I think I met Landon in. One of my better friends, and first WWE event for him, great times, and it was so fun. Let me just say, go into WWE, I don't care if you're a fan of WWE, you're like, oh, that's gay, WWE's for losers. Go to an event. It's fun. Okay, everyone's fun. They're doing the cheers. They're acting like it's real. Some of the kids think it's real, which I'm definitely not going to be the one to tell them it's not. You have to find that out for yourself. Because I remember when I was little, I was like, oh my gosh, John Cena, he's getting really hurt. And then you're like, oh, they're actually professional stunt actors. So it was super fun. I kind of just want to recap everything that happened, give my thoughts on it, because it was a banger of a time. Kicking off the evening, you had Seth Rollins being the special guest referee for a match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, which is going down at SummerSlam. We're actually going to drop our predictions for that on the next episode of the Surprise Jeb podcast. But he was kind of laying the ground rules for that match, and it was so incredible to see CM Punk. We all got matching CM Punk shirts. I remember I bought a CM Punk shirt back in 2014, or my parents bought it for me. And I went to Elimination Chamber 2014. I went to a WWE pay-per-view. Incredible. And I was hoping to see CM Punk. It turns out, behind the scenes, CM Punk had issues with the company and left. And I never thought I'd get to see CM Punk live again. Here I am, 21 years old, finally getting to see him live. I was going crazy. Oh my gosh. Cult of Personality theme song always gets me. Decent segment. Drew McIntyre cut some really good promos. But it was just really great to see CM Punk in person. Biceps are looking massive. He's been doing the work. And I'm super pumped to see their matchup coming up this Saturday. Very much so. After that, got into a little tag team action. The Creed brothers defeated Otis and Akira Tozawa. Decent match, nothing special. It's what happened afterwards that was super interesting, where the Wyatt Six, if anyone knows who Bray Wyatt is, rest in peace, he kind of had this gimmick where the lights would all come out, everyone would take out their flashlights, and the smoke would come out, and he'd be wearing a creepy mask, and he'd attack everyone in the ring. His younger brother, Bo Dallas, is who he used to be. I don't even know what his actual name is. It's something Wyatt, but he's got a whole posse now, and they kind of do the same thing. It's all to honor Bray Wyatt, and the lights cut out, everyone's waving their flashlights in there. I'm doing it, and the smoke's coming. There's all the creepy masks are coming in, and it was so fun. I was just having a blast. I was acting like a kid. It was a great time. After that, my favorite match of the evening, as Bronson Reed defeated Sheamus in a very action-packed match. I thought it was going to end at multiple times. Some great selling from both of these guys. Great moments. The moves. You have Bronson Reed who's easily pushing 300, jumping off the top rope. Sheamus was going off the top rope. And I've been a fan of Sheamus since 2009 when he broke on the scene. I saw him at a live event in 2011, I'm pretty sure, when he fought The Big Show. Actually, it might have been 2012 or something, but it was so fun. Great action. Pete Dunne came in. He used to be in a group with Sheamus. That was kind of dumb, but very interesting. After that, Jey Uso took on Carlito, and The XL Energy Center, the home of the Missile Wild, was buzzing. Okay, they were buzzing for Jey Uso, the yeet, yeet chant. I mean, him and Carlito put on a banger of a match. I was fairly enjoyed by it, and I thought, the ending was good. The whole thing with the Judgment Day kind of breaking apart here, very interesting. And they got through a lot of matches. I was fairly surprised they were able to get through so many matches, but very good stuff from Jey Uso and Carlito. After that, Karrion Kross defeated Xavier Woods. I went for a walk to stretch my legs with my buddies, and we honestly missed this. We honestly could have cared less what happened between Karrion Kross and Xavier Woods. Karrion Kross is just not over, and I think from what this little psyop says is Karrion Kross keeps trying to get Xavier Woods to join his group. I don't even know what happened. I was out going to the bathroom, essentially. After that, fun matchup. Sami Zayn versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio is essentially a cross of Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. It's absolutely brilliant. And Sami Zayn, your IC champion, he's getting beat up here. He's about to beat Dominic. Then Carlito and JD McDonough ran out, and then after that, Jey Uso ran out, then Braun Breaker came out, all building up. Braun Breaker will be taking on Sami Zayn this upcoming Saturday for the Intercontinental Championship. This was a fun segment. It's just cool to see these guys live. It's weird to see. It's weird to see them live. It's a completely different perspective than on TV, and I was having a blast. It was a great time. After that, we had a 6-woman tag match. I couldn't even tell you what happened. It was super boring. Not much went on, but hey, that'll happen. And then finally, we got to our main event. Gunther took on Finn Balor, and I don't want to be a hater. I don't really want to be a hater, but, this match kind of underperformed. Balor and Gunther are good. They're both amazing wrestlers, but they didn't really do anything special. And Gunther's finisher is so boring. I know he's called the ring general. He's he's like a technical striker of the UFC, if you will, where he just does things by the book. And his finisher is a submission, which submissions in WWE are just not entertaining. In UFC, they're very entertaining, and they're fake. They're fake in wrestling. He just has a sleeper hold, and that was that. And then after that was over, Damian Priest ran out because Gunther was still beating on him, and the entire show ended with Damian Priest standing tall over Gunther ahead of their matchup this upcoming Saturday, which I don't even know. Maybe Finn Balor will cost Damian Priest the World Heavyweight Championship, but that was fun. Raw, Monday Night Raw, July 29th. It gets a 8 out of 10 from me, and it was my first WWE event in 10 years. And just the nostalgia was there. The vibes were so high. And I was acting like a little kid, doing all the cheers, going, ooh, just getting on with the crowd. Seats weren't too bad. We were pretty dead on with the ring. I always want to sit as close as I can. I think that'll always be a goal of mine. But I'm not going to complain. I got to go with 2 of my buddies. It was an absolute blast. And I encourage everyone, like I said, go to a WWE event. It's fun. It's like going to a movie, if you will. It's going to a stunt show. And you're just enjoying what everyone's doing. I'll tell you what else I was enjoying that other people were doing, and that is the acting. That is the movie, the blockbuster of the summer, the movie which I'm told is going to surpass $1 billion this upcoming weekend. If you haven't heard, Deadpool and Wolverine. This is my official spoiler-free review of Deadpool and Wolverine. That's right. I'm not even going to spoil it for you because I encourage you to go see it, guys. I rarely throw this around. This is a 10 out of 10 movie. 10 out of 10 from Zachary. I'm very stingy with my 10 out of 10s. I'm always throwing out the 9.9999s. But no, this is a 10 out of 10 film. Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, the chemistry is there. I waited since Deadpool 1 for this movie to finally happen, the crossover, and it did. From the start of this movie, the vibes are so high. This animosity of just joy watching this. The music, the fight scenes, the gore, the cussing. Ryan Reynolds delivers the Deadpool line so well. Guys, there's so many cameos in this movie. I may revisit this in like a month or two once, everyone should have seen it by now. But there are so many cameos. It is utterly amazing. I don't even know how they got this many people. There's a lot of references where, I got almost all of them. But there's even some where I was like, I know that that's a reference. I know that this is a cameo. I don't know who it is, but it's there. And as far as the villain goes for this film, there's not much I can say without spoiling it. But there's essentially like 2 villains in this film. But there really isn't even a need for a villain. It's just Deadpool and Wolverine kicking ass, taking names. And there's so many good fight scenes. It's amazing. It's an amazing movie. And this is a movie I would go back to the theater to watch, which I would rarely do. I didn't even do that with the Planet of the Apes movies, but with Deadpool and Wolverine, I would most definitely do it. As of right now, IMDb has it at an 8.2 out of 10, which is very high for a superhero movie, especially of the comedy action genre like this. Rotten Tomatoes at 79%, very, very good. Deadpool Wolverine is the 6th biggest R-rated movie opening of all time. I mean, come on. What more could you ask for? What more could you ask for out of a film? Lots of good stuff from this. They have essentially almost every character you could imagine in this film. I mean, they're just the cameos. It's just all the cameos, and I don't even know what more to say. It's hard to give a spoiler-free review when you can't really drop any spoilers. I will say the soundtrack is absolutely amazing. Yet again, you can't really spoil any of the songs they talk about. But, yeah, very good. Sean Levy directed. Ryan Reynolds is actually one of the writers on this, so they really let him get along with it. And the whole plot, if I'll let you try and let you in on the plot of this, is Deadpool. He obviously was going through time, messing things up. The TVA gets a hold of him, asks him to do this task. He needs to do it, but he needs a partner to do it with. So he's like, you know what? I'll get Wolverine as a partner. And chaos ensues after that, leading to just, it's a fulfilling ending. It leaves room open for more, and just moi. It's just moi. The budget for this film was $200 million. It's already surpassed $500 million. I mean, I'm so surprised this movie was only a $200 million budget, which is a lot of money. Like, they put a lot of money into this. The graphics are insane. The choreography is insane. I can tell a lot of people went into doing this. But it was just amazing, absolutely amazing. End credit scene is not really worth it. It's more of a gag than anything relevant, but this definitely does set up a lot of things for the future. A lot of fun things. Deadpool Wolverine, absolute blast of a time. Just coming in at over 2 hours. This is a movie where I could sit there for 3 hours and watch. The relationship, it's essentially a buddy cop film. That's how I describe it. A buddy cop film where occasionally they'll both try and kill each other. And the fact that they have like super healing powers makes this 10 times better, because you're just constantly watching and you're like, oh my gosh, he just got his arm chopped off and it grew back. Oh, he's getting shot in the chest a bunch of times. It doesn't matter. There are no rules with this. All physics can be thrown out. This is just a goofy superhero film, and it gets a 10 out of 10. It was amazing. I don't know what more to say. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And like most things in life, I think a lot of things are amazing. I'll tell you one thing that is amazing, and that was this book that I read, You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. Jen Sincero, one of my favorite authors of all time. She's incredible. Didn't find that drive in life. Didn't find her passion. Didn't find her purpose until her 40s. That's when she became a millionaire. Became a 40s through her writing, through her motivationalness. And she's just living proof that, if you can put your mind to it and just completely give it your all, you will succeed. And we have a lot of notes. And you know me, I take a lot of notes, but as of right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have like 15 pages of notes. Okay, I was thinking about doing a whole episode just around this book, but we're not going to try and linger over everything I wrote down. Obviously, I just write down tidbits about what I think is useful. The quotes from this are all amazing. So sit back, guys. This could take a minute, but I want you all to savor in, and of course, go read this for yourself. But this is an official review about everything I took from this book. It's an amazing book. It's a 9 out of 10 on the book scale, if we have a book scale, apparently. But yeah, this is the official review for you.